I hate ice in Wizard101. Hello everybody and welcome to another video on the channel, and in today's video I want to talk about the state of ice in Wiz. Even though I particularly might not like the school, I like to PvP on it from time to time, but generally I just don't like the school, and that's okay. Everyone has different tastes in the game. However, one thing is you cannot deny the fact of the matter that this is the worst school in the game right now. Now, I made videos talking about Storm and how it was the worst school in the game because there's actually data to back that up, and well, there is with Ice now as well. So here we are talking about, numbers, the facts, and how the community feels, and I'll do the same thing for Ice because I want to see the game do better. So I got my Tim Hortons with me right here, and we're going to talk about the state of Ice and break down everything in this video. I am aware I made a video quite some time ago about the state of ice, but I wanted to make an updated one because the meta has changed a little bit. Like, we lost Ice Pig and TC Frostbite, which obviously had to go because they were both extremely unbalanced cards. But point is, the meta has changed now, so we need to talk about the new problems and the problems that are still around on the school. Okay guys, so first up, let's talk about Ice and its dual school. Ice can't dual school as good as other schools. Now, the reason for this is because Ice has an accuracy penalty, which honestly is kind of similar to Storm in a way when you look at things. And this is because Resist is actually valued as the best stat in the game, and the developers aren't wrong for that. Okay, so basically it's suffering from the same issue that Storm is you have such a hard time getting your school accuracy, you can't invest into other school accuracy, right? So essentially in the meta, the schools that can cover the most bases are generally going to do the best. The only school that is the exception here is Storm, because Storm has horrible dual school, but you still see it being top 3 right now in the meta, right? Just because the school itself is like really good with Catchberry and Catalan. However, with Ice, you don't see that. Oftentimes, if you play Ice right now, you're gonna see yourself struggling to get both Fire and Storm accuracy, and the issue is, if you don't have both of these, you're going to auto-lose a lot of matchups, right? If I go for Storm, okay, I can probably beat Fire, Dot, and, Healing Storm, Lives with Storm, but I'm gonna lose against Trap Stack and Shield Stack like Myth, or, Death even, for that matter. And to get the stats to dual school on an Ice for Fire, Storm, and mono school accuracy, you have to give up literally so much again compared to the other schools, like maybe Balance, Death, Myth, even Life. A Life is really good with dual school. So that by itself just basically really screws Ice indirectly. However, we are getting a fall update where dual school is going to get buffed for everybody. So maybe we could see Ice and Storm do a bit better with dual school in the future. I don't know. We'll have to see, guys. Next up, I want to talk about the Gambits. So I want to talk about the weakness Gambits and the trap Gambits because I believe these are even Blade Gambits too, but this is about Ice. Trap and weakness Gambits are very underdeveloped in the library, and they're so underdeveloped to the point that they're just not worth using, and they're not competitive or, worth being packed, right? So basically, this makes it so Ice only has one good Gambit, which is their Shield Gambit, which is obviously Ice Scion. Now, this card itself, the base damage is really good, similar to a base Myth Gen, just really good raw damage on the base hit and all. So that's great, but my point is you can't do an Oni and you can't do a Jin because they're just not good. You could win with it if you get a good matchup and your super deck set, yes, but you're not going to have a good win rate with it because, you just can't set and do one strat and expect to beat everybody. You can't. There's counter matchups in the game. It's not going to work. To put that in perspective, if you're a developer or you don't PvP, the schools that always are at the top generally are schools that do the same thing against everybody. So for example, a Balance is going to spam Brace, Mana Burn, Gearhead, stuff like that, Lowers, Samurai. It just works against everybody. A Myth is just going to PvE, Drop Bear, Stone, Ninja Pig, Space Gen, and it just works against everybody. However, aside from the PvE Ice strat, which I'm not going to include in this video because that's, its own problem and separately broken, Regular ice just has no options, and your entire library is just scuffed and really bad. So yeah, let's talk about the shield gambit, because we talked about the weakness and the trap line. So ices are only left with one option, and that's going to be their shield gambit. So again, the shield gambits they have are really good, right? We cannot deny that. The, base Scion, really good. Lord of Winter, really good card. Okay, the issue is ice has no good low pip cards to do damage with on their shields. One good card that ice has for low pips is Frost Beetle. This is a really good tempo move, but the issue is the fact of the matter that, again, unlike the meta schools, you can't do this against everybody and, expect to win. There are times where this could be honestly really good, but if you go against like a fire or a myth, you're just going to simply get destroyed. There are some cases where you could like Volcanic Golem and Frost Beetle against a fire and a myth if they overextend and it's later on in the game and it's really good. But generally, it's just not good because you'll get countered and you're packing all these copies for nothing, basically, just to get countered. Next up, I want to talk about the fact of the matter that everybody is packing shield counters. Now, the reason that this is a thing is simply because players generally in the game, whether it's a Jade heal spammer or a shield spammer, people don't like that. It prolongs the game, it wastes their time, it's really boring, it's really repetitive, and in the case of a shield gambits dominated the 5th age for like a long time, okay? Up until recent months where they buffed the shield, counters, stuff like that. And basically, yes, everyone is packing a lot of shield counters on every school, right? Whether it's Minotaur with a Clayer 4, Fire Elephant, Fire Elf, stuff like that, Glimpse, right? It's all really good and everyone is set for shields. So now you're kind of seeing how everything is coming full circle on the ice, right? So you're seeing the fact of the matter, you can't go for a weakness or a trap gambit because they're just not good. They're underdeveloped, right? So you're only left with a shield gambit. However, due to your restrictive library, with only having Scion and Lord of Winter at high pips, you can't do that more often than not. And on top of that, the entire game is set for shields because, people just don't like them, and shield gambits still at their core are just really, really good and powerful, so people feel like they have to set for them. So ice can't shield, ice can't weakness, ice can't trap. They're just all bad, right? And also, I want to talk about a common community misconception here because I see this a lot and it drives me insane. And the developers agree with me on this, is people complain about damage on an ice. Now, thankfully, I play the game, so I can relate to you and I understand where you're coming from, okay? However, what you're really saying is I feel like I can't do damage against another resist school because you're not complaining about damage against a storm or a fire, and I'm sorry if you are, you're bad at the game and you need to get better, right? But the other schools like Death, Life, Balance, Myth, even another ice, your hits are just horrible. I just don't understand how people can pick the tank school of Wizard101, that is the lowest DPP school in the game, and cry about not doing damage. If you want to do damage and be a tank, go play Myth, go play Death. Those are also shield schools that nuke people and are, relatively tanky, okay? I don't know, man. That whole argument just drives me insane. Even though I can see where you're coming from, just the broad complaint of being like, oh, well, I just don't do damage. It's like, in most matchups, you don't. But if they were to buff your actual damage, you would dog a storm and you would dog fire just off of that alone. So you need to realize it's the other schools resist, the other school's stats, and the other school's libraries that actually screw you, not just the damage. Okay, lastly, I want to talk about the matchups in the game because I forgot to talk about this, but Ice is the only school in the game right now that essentially has 4 counter matchups. And a lot of players fail to understand this, and I tell them this all the time, and they just don't listen. So, every school on Rochambeau has 2 counter matchups. Ice is designed to get shit on by Fire and Myth. However, the problem is because of the meta and the game, Ice also gets shit on by Balance and Life, which makes 4 counter matchups. Now look at every other school in the game right now. The next most, bad one is probably going to be Storm, which is bad against Ice, Death, Balance, and has like a 50-50 chance against Myth. Okay, that's the next one. But even Storm, compared to Ice, is just way better, right? So you're the only school in the game that has 4 just horrible matchups, right? Everybody else generally just has the 2 they're designed to have, okay? And now this is a big deal because just off of that fact alone, half of the game, over half of the game, is countering you. And that's not going to feel good when, other schools can queue and half of the game isn't countering them, right? So that's a very big deal, and that's part of the reason why it feels bad to play Ice right now. So I'm of the opinion Ice needs a very minor buff in the mid pip range, where there's like the Colossus change I suggested for shields, or we need to make life healing worse, and we need to nerf Balance to indirectly make Ice have 2 counter matchups and make it better and feel better in the game. That's what I think needs to happen. Anyways, I'm done yapping. This video is going on for long enough. Let me know your thoughts and feedback down there in the comments below, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like and sub if you made it this far. I'll see you on the next one. Thank you for watching, and take care, guys.